Hello, my name is Julianne and welcome to my May 2021 reading wrap up. This is going to be a short but sweet video because I read two great books, and just two great books, which is twice as many as I read in April, so yay me. Not as many as I envisaged myself reading, but I think, to be honest, I was in a bit of a reading slump during April, and that continued on in May until I read the first book that I read in May, Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, which solved my reading slump. It pulled me out of my reading slump, so that was really good. Because of my reading slump, it took me a little while to get into this, but once I did, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So for disclosure, I was sent a proof copy of this by the publisher, which I took some very pretty pictures of for my Instagram, and then moved house and lost. I think what's happened is I didn't put in my books I want to read next pile, so it went in with all of my series not yet started books, and it must be buried somewhere there on those shelves downstairs. So yeah, but fortunately Illumicrate came to the rescue and made this one of their monthly books. So I have this beautiful Illumicrate edition with sprayed edges. It's just gorgeous. And it continues being gorgeous inside. It's got this beautiful map of Paris end papers. Isn't that lovely? And yeah, it was absolutely brilliant read. It's set during the French Revolution, and the main characters are a group of teenagers who basically have set out to rescue people from the guillotine, sort of as kind of like a partly as a way to survive because they get money for this, partly as a way to kind of get revenge on the revolution for taking some people they love from them. And all the characters are sort of very complicated relationships with the idea of revolution and their parents and their background and everything that's going on, which makes it really deep and meaningful, and you can think a lot about all of the characters' motives, and it's just yeah that gives it this great depth to it. But the story is also a lot of fun. They go to rescue this one girl and discovers that she actually has these supernatural powers that people are fighting over, and so they have to sort of play both sides to try to rescue her. And then what do they do with her afterwards? You know, she's quite naive, she doesn't know anything really about the world, and she only wants one thing, and that is to be free. But can she be free with all these people fighting over her? Yeah. There's a lot going on, and it's really good, and I would strongly recommend it. I am really looking forward to reading the sequel, Monstrous Design. The second book that I read was another Illumicrate book. I just thought I'm going to read some of these giant hardbacks, and I prioritised books where there was a sequel available on NetGalley so that I could read the sequel straight away, hopefully. Didn't happen with this one. I read it and then I got declined for the sequel, The Monarchs, on NetGalley. But hey, it's fine, I'll just have to wait. And I think I will remember what happened in The Ravens well enough anyway that I'm not panicked about the fact that you can't read the second one immediately. So anyway, The Ravens really appealed to me just because it sounded like pure fun. It is set in a sorority at a university in the US, where all of the sorority sisters are witches. They have this whole recruitment process to check that they have powers, how strong those powers are, and once they get into the sorority, it's all glamour and magic, which is something that very much appealed to me right then. I wanted something that would just be fun, as I said. And there are some small, deeper things going on in this. It kind of plays with the notion of who gets to have power, and how do you look after power and responsibility, that kind of thing. But mostly there's parties, there's backstabbing, there's jealousy, there's so much stuff going on. And yeah, it's all kind of like social drama. Social drama. That's the best way to put it. Which I was absolutely in the mood of. So it's mood for. So I read it. I loved it. Yeah. Really annoyed that I can't read the sequel yet, but hey, that is the life. That is the game you play when you request things on NetGalley. And again, this is a really, really beautiful hardback edition. Lovely pink sprayed edges, and then the book itself underneath is also pink. So yeah, a short but sweet reading month, and these two books cured my reading slump. So right now it is June, and I want to read all of the books, and it's really frustrating that I can only read so many at once. You know, there are so many books I desperately want to start, and I'm just having to force myself to go one at a time, because I know that if I start them all, how will I finish them all? It's just not happening. It's just not happening. Brief Julianne versus TBR update. So Julianne versus TBR is my quest to read all of the books that I have unread on these bookshelves, both behind me, and I have another 2 bookshelves downstairs as well for the books that I want to read. They're on a Billy bookcase, so not as many as are on this IKEA Kallax. IKEA, sponsor me. But still quite a lot. And yeah, I feel like where I've gone wrong is with being too strict on myself. So a couple of months ago I set a rule that I could only read print books. I wasn't to start any more ebooks, and the problem is that that's just meaning that I can't follow my moods to the same extent, because sometimes I'll hear about a book and I really want to read it then and there, and I can get an ebook, so I buy the ebook for future reference, but I'm not allowed to read it. So yeah, that's not great. And the same goes for the library. I see loads of books that I'm really excited about reading, add them to my wish list, but I can't read them. I have to go find some other book instead. And I have tried putting myself on booktube bans where I can't watch any booktube videos, and I have tried spending less time on Twitter so that I don't get book recommendations on there, in a bid to try and concentrate my mind on what I already own. But it just doesn't really work for me. That's it, that's all I can say really. So I think what I'm going to have to do is update my rules and say that I can start ebooks. I have to read 2 print books for every ebook started. So hopefully that will work, because I have done that before. I'm basically not allowed to request a book on NetGalley until I've read 2 print books to earn it. And this is a very similar rule, but it's more around starting ebooks, because I've still been acquiring ebooks. I put a load of books on my Nook the other day, and I put 70 books on. 70 ebooks that I've acquired since February. And some of those are just like, they were 99p on Kindle, or they were free on Kindle, so I thought I'd better grab them while I could. Others cost a little bit more, but they were still good deals, so I wanted to get them. And yeah. So yeah, those are racking up, but I'm not allowed to read any of them under my current rules. So yeah, I'm going to end the experiment of not letting myself start any ebooks. I'm still going to stay off the audiobooks because they're quite difficult to fit in, and I've got a huge podcast backlog. Until I have to travel to places again on a regular basis, I think audiobooks are off the table. But yeah, I'm going to let myself read ebooks, but I have to read 2 print books in order to earn them. And I actually spent these books on my NetGalley request. So I have 2 print books on the go at the moment, fiction print ebooks that is. I've got loads of non-fiction, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, I've got 2 fiction print books on the go, so when I finish those I can start a ebook, which works out perfectly because there's one that I am absolutely desperate to get going on. So yeah, that is my May 2021 wrap up and my Julianne versus TBR update. Thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. If you would like to read more books but don't know where to start, check out my free e-course, Ignite Your Passion for Reading, Fall in Love with Books. And if you would like to read a novella set during the first 2 weeks of the UK lockdown for COVID-19, and kind of get some sympathy for that time and feel like somebody else went through what you're going through, check out my novella Unlucky in Lockdown, which is also linked in the description box. Thank you very much for watching. You'll see me again soon. Bye!